Henry is done with Christina. Guys, what is up? Max here, the Celeb Talk guy, and you guys already know what was on last night, and that was Married at First Sight. There was some good, there was some bad, there was even some boring on from last night. But first, we need to talk about the couple that really stood out to me, and that was, like always, Henry and Christina. Now, we all know their relationship, this entire time has been pretty awful. There really hasn't been much good. At least there has not been much good on camera. But last night, things just pretty much, in my opinion, sealed the deal for Henry. So this is what happened. This is the scoop. What went down was Dr. Viviana, one of the love experts, gave Henry and Christina a little exercise that they could do where they can ask each other questions. One of the questions for Christina was, do you have any deal breakers? And Christina said, yes, I do. The deal breaker I have is just pure, confidence. If the person isn't confident, it's over, it's done. I do not want to stay in this marriage. So clearly, she was calling out Henry, saying, if you do not raise your confidence, if you do not become more confident, it is a deal breaker, that is it, and I cannot move forward with this marriage. So what did Henry do? Well, Henry took that comment like, it's a deal breaker, it's done, it's over. Like he took that confidence comment like, my lack of confidence is something that will likely never, ever, ever, ever change. I'm not saying he or she is right or wrong. I honestly think it would be better for Henry to slowly work on his confidence, and maybe Christina could help him with that. I don't really know. But he is taking his lack of confidence like it's the equivalent of like me being, an NFL football player. If you look at me, I weigh 175 pounds. I am never going to ever be an NFL football player. And I'm god-awful at football. So obviously, that is something that will never, ever, 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 ever happen. Well, that is what Henry was comparing it to. Henry was like, I would love to be able to throw a football however many yards, really far, but he goes, that's never going to happen. He was comparing his lack of confidence to something that will probably never, ever, ever, ever happen, which is kind of unfortunate because I do feel like, being able to become more confident is something people can work on and develop. I mean, look at me. I used to be so shy. Believe it or not, I used to have no self-confidence and I slowly worked on it. So Henry, I wouldn't rule out, your ability to become more confident, but that's how he worded it. That's how he was looking at it like, hey, I'm not confident at all. I'm not going to be, probably get, much more confident in the next month. So he looked at it like, it's a deal breaker. It's done. This marriage is over. And I mean, honestly, you guys, are we surprised? Like, this is one of those couples, I kind of, to be completely honest, kind of actually thought that they would just call it quits like a week or two into this marriage because they have no chemistry, they just have nothing positive going for the two of them. So I thought they were going to honestly just throw in the towel a little bit early, and I don't think they are going to do that now. I think they are going to kind of at least, try to weather the storm and try to make it through. But after last night's episode, you could just see in Henry's eyes, and he made some comments to Christina, and he also made some comments to Bennett that was just like, hey, this is over. He kept making the comparison to my self-confidence isn't going to be going up anytime soon. So like, if that's a deal breaker for you, this is likely over. And for some reason, he actually went and grabbed like dinner with Bennett. It was just him and Bennett. Kind of odd, kind of interesting though, because they're totally different people. And the thing I do like about Bennett is it seems like one of those kind of guys that anyone, whether you are very confident or not, can just be really open and talk to because he is so out there and all over the place. So, Henry really opened up to Bennett when they were having dinner, and he just told him what went down with Christina and the comment she made about his confidence. And Bennett said something that was actually so smart and cool, I kind of thought. Bennett told Henry that, hey, you are not, not confident. Confidence is different in all people. And while Christina's, definition of confidence might be totally different to someone else. She might think that someone that's confident is tall and has their head and their chin up high and they're loud and proud. Like, I don't know, maybe Brett. Brett appears to be very confident on the surface. But, someone else's definition of confidence might just be someone that, really believes in themselves. They don't have to be loud and proud and cocky. So there's there's so many different, definitions of confidence, and for Henry to be self-aware enough to admit that, hey, it's something he has struggled with, he isn't hiding it. Like, I could see someone like Brett, once again, not being the most confident person, but he has to kind of put on a little bit of a cover, put on a show, and so I love what Bennett said. I think Christina maybe was coming from a right place when she made those comments about confidence. I don't really know. I don't know what she was trying to go at. Maybe she was trying to push Henry to work on his confidence. Maybe she was trying to be flat out rude. I have no idea, but I definitely agree with Bennett when he said that there's so many different definitions of confidence, and while Henry might not be confident and loud and proud and cocky on the surface, he definitely is self-aware, he's kind, and I think he is a smart, nice guy. So I am still kind of Team Henry more on this relationship, but after last night's episode, I don't know about you guys, but I saw in Henry's eyes that you could just tell he realized this was over. But put in the comments below what you thought of the first couple, being Henry and Christina. Now I want to talk about, honestly, they are my favorite couple. I have been balancing and juggling these two couples, and that is Amelia and Bennett and Woody and Amani, but last night I made my final decision on my favorite couple this season, and that is Woody and Amani. It was a very, very, very close tie. I almost was a tie, but Woody and Amani, I just like a hair more. I don't know why. I say this every time I do a video, but Woody reminds me of one of my very close friends, Vianney, the guy in my cover video above. They have like the exact same personality, so I just love Woody. I think he is funny, he is sweet, he is charming, he is a flirt, and the thing I love about these two is Woody seems so amazing, and Amani, she seems even more amazing, but she just seems so in love with his personality and his jokes and his looks, and honestly, Woody, it's a vice versa. They both seem so in love with each other. Like, it's really honestly kind of odd, and I said this in the last video, I am so shocked that these two people, I don't even know, they never met, they never had a run-in, they never went on a date. It just seems so crazy because they're such a perfect match, and their city seems relatively small. So Woody and Amani, I love these two so much. I am wishing them the best, and I can only imagine, I don't know about you guys, but I can only imagine that they do stay together, but maybe you guys have a different opinion, but they definitely seem to be like, one of, by far, the best couples on the season. And now that we talked about an incredible couple, let's talk about another just horrible couple, and that is Brett and Olivia. And yes, they're right there with Henry and Christina. They are an awful couple. They have no chemistry, they have no interest, and Brett on last night's episode was really starting to annoy Olivia. Olivia, what happened was this. Dr. Viviana, she went over to their apartment. They were talking about their love life, and hey, guess what? We have a little bit of an insight. Olivia did admit that her and Brett have not been very romantic in the bedroom. And, they kind of had their reasoning, and the reasoning was just this. Olivia didn't think there was a lot of sparks flying, but she did tell Brett that, hey, if you ever do want to make a move, I wouldn't deny you, but she wasn't really like, hey, let's do this thing. She was kind of just like, if you want to do something, well, I'm down, but it wasn't like she was really down kind of thing, and I think that was kind of a turnoff for Brett. So Brett, he never really made a move. He was clearly uncomfortable when they were talking about their love life in front of Dr. Viviana. You could just see it. He was uncomfortable. Maybe it's because it's on TV. I don't blame the guy, but you could see he was starting to get kind of uncomfortable, and that is when the sarcastic Brett that we all know so well, kind of came out, and he was making these jokes, and he was trying to be funny, and he was being, sarcastic in a serious moment. Now, I was watching this, and Olivia was becoming so upset because they would ask him a question about their love life or about their romance or whatever, and, Brett would just make a joke, and you can't really figure out, okay, is he joking? Is he telling the truth? And Olivia was getting frustrated. Even Dr. Viviana was getting frustrated. I was getting frustrated. And I know a lot of you guys might say, well, Brett, he is a sarcastic person. Okay, let me just tell you guys one thing. I am an extremely sarcastic person, but even me, who loves to joke around all the freaking time, knows there is a time and a place. And a sit down, a meeting with a counselor and therapist, a love therapist with your wife, probably is not the best place to be 100% sarcastic the entire time. Like during this, meeting or whatever, the counseling session, Brett was being sarcastic the whole time. He did not stop joking. So it was annoying. It was honestly kind of just rude, and I feel pretty bad for Olivia. She was definitely upset. And then they ended up having a dinner date, whatever, a little bit after, and Olivia did call out Brett, and Brett, once again, in my eyes at least, he kind of just got insecure, uncomfortable, because I don't think he really was expecting Olivia to call him out. And Olivia also said, she said, hey, it seems like we have two Bretts. We have the Brett that is, when the cameras are on him, and we have the other Brett that when the cameras aren't on him. And we have these two different personalities, and you could clearly see she was upset, and, great for Olivia. She definitely called him out. She didn't beat around the bush, and I think it made Brett pretty upset. So Brett and Olivia, obviously, they're doing awful. So let's move on to a little bit of a better couple like Woody and Imani, and that would be Amelia and Bennett. They are doing really well. I would say that Imani and Woody are doing really great, and Amelia and Bennett are just doing great. They're not doing really great, they're just doing like good, great. They're doing incredible. They really do seem to love each other. They seem to really, really, really like each other. I like them as a couple. The only little hindering issue that Bennett just continues to bring up is the fact that Amelia is going to have to move with her residency, with her work as a doctor. It is honestly kind of weird. Now, I kind of think Bennett is a nitpickier kind of a guy. No shame, so am I. He definitely seems to nitpick every little thing, and I don't even know. It's hard to see because he won't be set in stone with this decision with Amelia moving. He doesn't know where she's going to move, so he just keeps kind of, waiting and waiting and waiting until she finds out where she has to go, and then he's gonna make his decision, I guess. It's just kind of odd because he's now, people keep bringing up this question, well, what are you going to do when Amelia has to move? And he just keeps kind of beating around the bush. He's being very vague, and I think it's kind of making Amelia a little bit uncomfortable because she's like, it's just kind of weird because, like, what if he doesn't want to stay with me? What if he wants to get a divorce? Like, it's just kind of weird. I think he's going to go with her. I don't know where she goes. I don't know what happens, but it's just kind of honestly a little bit odd. So they were FaceTiming with Amelia's aunt, and then, even Bennett was talking to Henry, and they kept bringing up this comment that Amelia is going to have to move. It's just kind of a weird situation. Either way, I get where Bennett is coming from because he grew up in the area, all his friends, all his family, all his work is in this area, and he did just meet Amelia like 4 weeks ago. So yes, they seem to be just an incredible couple, but it has only been 4 or 5 weeks. So I get it. But on the other side, I wish he'd be a little bit more set in stone, but we'll have to wait and see because he did say in 1 week, Amelia is going to get her news on where she has to go, and then he's going to make his decision. But I'm still kind of thinking like, well, what is the decision like either you're going to dump her or you're going to move? Well, it just seems so weird, so odd. So I don't know. Amelia and Bennett, they are doing well. It's just that little decision that we have to wait on. And the last couple that I want to talk about, and honestly, they're one of the worst couples. Now, that is, Karen and Miles. I have adored Miles this entire season. I think the guy is incredible. Karen has, at first, I didn't like her at all. Now she is starting to slowly grow on me. I think she is really one of those people, she's like a snail, like a turtle. She moves really, really slow in relationships, maybe even life in general. I don't really know, probably just relationships. She just seems so cautious. She's so, worried about this, worried about giving Miles the wrong impression. So, she's just going really slow. And right now, I think she is just right on the hinge of a turning corner of maybe moving forward in the right direction with Miles. They've been at this weird 50-50 mark for like, it seems like a couple episodes now where they could really go either way. And I don't know. And honestly, it's just, I feel bad for Miles. I have felt bad for Miles this entire season. I get it, Karen. This is uncomfortable, this is weird, but it's like, why would you apply to go on Married at First Sight if you aren't comfortable being married at first sight? Like, I know it's probably different than what you expected, but still, don't apply to go on the show if you don't want to get married at first sight. And this whole season, it has really just seemed like like Karen didn't want to be in a relationship. She doesn't want to be married to Miles. She never really ever seemed interested in Miles. And now we're slowly starting to see her kind of somewhat show some interest. On the last episode, they went and did some working out together. They're kind of hanging out a little bit more. They're joking around a little bit more. They seem to be doing better. But honestly, still, like, I really still feel like 65%, maybe even 70% of the jokes and the this and the that is coming from Miles. We're just seeing bits and pieces from Karen. She's starting to kind of joke around. She's starting to get a little more comfortable, but we're definitely not talking about any, like, you know, Amelia or Bennett or Woody and Amani type couple. They're right there in the middle. So, you know, we have two couples with Amelia and Bennett and Woody and Amani. They're incredible. We have two couples with Henry and Christina and Olivia and Brett that are absolutely categorically god-awful. Then we have this middle couple with Karen and Miles. I don't know what happens. I could see it going either way. I'm kind of honestly rooting somewhat for Miles to run. I've been rooting for him to run all season. I know a lot of you guys don't entirely agree with me, and a lot of you guys think that, you know, Karen isn't as bad as I think. I don't think she is bad. I definitely don't think she's a bad person at all. She seems to be a pretty nice, sincere person. I just think she's a little too cautious and a little too quiet for Miles. Miles needs the words. He needs the this, the that. You know, he needs someone that's really going to be there emotionally. And I'm not sure if Karen has those emotions for him. But hey, you know me. Why should I talk? I'm single and lonely, so I can't judge too much on any of these relationships. But that's just kind of my thought on all of these couples. So guys, Married at First Sight. I hope you enjoyed last night's episode. I don't know why I always say that, because honestly, I got nothing to do with this show at all. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know I did, and so did my roommate. It was a pretty solid episode. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. But the main thing is, if you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you hit that like button, and it would really mean the world to me if you did two other things, and that is subscribe and comment your thoughts below. I love hearing everyone's thoughts, especially with Married at First Sight, because Married at First Sight is so near and dear to my heart. So I would love to hear everyone's comments, everyone's thoughts. And before I sign off for the day, I do want to mention, I did a little Q&A video yesterday where I shared some more about my personal life, personal story, whatnot, and I got like an overwhelmingly positive, amazing response from you guys. So I just wanted to say, without like, you know, tearing up right now, that I number one, I love you guys dearly. You guys are just the best people, the most amazing people in the whole entire world. I should say it every video that I do, because I really sincerely from the bottom of my heart mean it. Everyone that watches these videos and likes and comments and subscribes, I love you guys dearly, more than I could literally ever put into words. So number one, I just want to say I love you guys so much, and thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for the positive feedback and the amazing comments and how nice, you know, the majority of you guys are. It really means the world to me. So I just wanted to say thank you for watching the last video. I can't believe anyone finds that interesting. I know, not like that. I just can't believe anyone finds me or anything coming out of my mouth interesting. So I just can't believe it. I can't believe, you know, anyone even watches these videos. It's just unbelievable. So I wanted to say thank you. I love you guys. You mean the world to me. And please hit that like button, comment below your thoughts, make sure to subscribe, and I will be seeing you guys right back here tomorrow.